So now we're down here in wonderful Waterford in Ireland, right down the south east, heading to a lovely place called Ring near the town of Dungarvan. Very famous sea area, so you got lovely beautiful farms just off the sea, and also very famous oyster area. So my great old friend for, oh gosh, 32 years, we were at Reese Heath Agricultural College together in England. He is farming here, and he's doing an amazing job. As good a dairy farmer as I know, and an oyster farmer. We did a little bit of video before with him. He got some Hoover mattress. We did some business in the past with bulls. When I was full-time farming myself, I sold him a bull, Creva Holsteins, and then we did a deal on Hoover mattress. I need to see what year we put that in. And Colin's just a great guy, great farmer, great family man, big family, just as hard a worker as you'll meet. He's a great guy for partying in our days in college, but that's another story. But a great farmer. So I'm hoping he'll let me record him. I'm doing my usual trick of not telling people that we're going to be doing this video, because if you tell them, they just won't do it. So I hope to get a nice interview out of him. More importantly, get a nice walk around. He's two farms. He's dairy farm and he's oyster farm. And we'll see from there. Okay. Well, here with Colin Harty. We're going to have a little walk around the farm. Colin, thanks for letting me.
No bother at all. Nice to see you again.
We know each other a long time.
We do. Too long, Nelly, but sure.
Too long. Was it 94, 95 we graduated?
It was, yeah.
I think it was 95.
Yeah, out of Reese Heath in England.
Yeah. So we'll have a little look around, as well as being an old friend and a good farmer, a great farmer. We did business on bulls one time.
Bulls, yeah. Mats, other mats. Whatever we could do just to get together and have a session, mainly.
Exactly. That's exactly what I said going up in the car. Yeah. So we have a bit of Hoover mattress in there doing well, and I actually see a little bit of Durapack there.
Yeah.
But sure, look, more importantly, we'll have a chat about the farm, and come here, I'd love to chat a little bit about the oysters as well.
Yeah, we can do a bit about that, because some of the policies that the government are having are impacting on both sides of that business, the farming and the oysters. And there's some interesting things we could talk about there too, I think.
Okay, brilliant. Yeah. Well, let's do a little bit of a walk around and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Thanks. So Colin, here's the farm.
Yeah.
How many hectares?
60 hectares here at home, 64 nearly altogether in total.
Going right down onto the sea. The sea is just off there, is it?
Yeah, it's about a mile away that way.
Yeah. We have a few bales coming in here now.
No, that's an oyster guy. He's going to the beach now. So he's a neighbour of mine who's at oysters, so he has about 20 lads working for him.
So, and is he only doing oysters?
Yeah, he's one of the biggest French suppliers. Lardo is his name. So I get on well with him. I kind of work with him.
Sorry, you said he's one of the biggest French oyster.
Yeah, he has a good brand over there. He supplies China and all over the world, really. And
come here, out of interest now, that man that's doing those oysters, like yourself, is he dairy or beef farming too, or cereals?
No, he's just all oysters.
All oysters. Yeah. Okay. So here you're near paddocks and you go off across there, do you?
Yeah, so half the farm is on one side of the road, half on the other. So cows have to stay in after milking for maybe 10 days of the 3-week rotation.
Okay.
Because they have to cross the road, and then the other fields are close by, so they can go out straight after milking. But
and
dry this summer, we seeded there 3 weeks ago. It's just starting to come up, but we're in a bit of a drought situation again now. Soil moisture deficit and growth gone under demand. So I'm hoping I reseeded again in April, and we got a green drought then, and it was slow to come, but it came in the end, and I've had nice covers there now. So we're just baling some of that today, and I just grazed for the second time the other day. So that came nice in the end, right?
Like what we were saying there earlier, like up in Galway, thankfully, we've been really lucky with the weather. But here you've been a bit shook. As you say, you're facing into your third drought.
Yeah, 1 green drought, 2 brown droughts. Now I still have grass at the moment, but
yeah.
Paul, 1 second, I talked to him.
Yeah. So we'll have a walk up as far as the cows, Colin.
Yeah, no bother at all.
So I actually saw some of them there coming in earlier.
A bit of a trial, some crossbreeding, 3-way crosses at the moment.
With the cows?
Yeah, so used to be winter milk, got out of that, and then Went down the EBI route, but kept positive on milk. Went for kilos of milk solids, so always tried to pick 40 kilos of milk solids. Bulls, mainly Irish bulls for the last 10 or 15 years, but started to find the maintenance was getting a bit too high and body size was getting a bit too small, and yields haven't progressed, so they've stayed steady. Percentages have gone up, right? But kilos of milk solids per cow is still around the same, around 560 delivered.
And what's your target in regards to kilos?
I know.
You're happy with 560 is excellent.
560 is okay, yeah. If I get more grass into them, I'd be happier, but it's a heavy farm. Yeah. So it's hard enough to graze in the spring and wet year. And at the moment now, we're kind of in between. We're in a bay between two sets of hills, and when we get a dry, high pressure in the summer, we get very little rain in this area. It seems to rain up in the hills on both sides, but not here. So that's hence the second drought. And cover here today is about 1100. It's been 19 days since they grazed it, so it's getting a bit thin. And
for any of our non-Irish grass-based friends, walk around the fields once a week. When you talk about cover, that's the kilos of dry matter per hectare that's on there, and you're saying there's about 1100 there. Kilos dry matter per hectare.
So we'll be aiming to get into covers of 13 to 1500 and produce most of our milk from grass. So this time of the year we'd pull back the meal and hopefully get 90% of your milk produced from forage like grazed grass.
And Colin, come here, when we go back, we've talked about our days in Reese Heath. This is the part now where I'll ask someone to put in all the pictures of us as lads and visiting the farms. So, we weren't really all about grass the way Ireland has gone about grass now.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
We were still thinking of feeder wagons and winter milk. We were both winter milk men at the time, right? Yeah. And it's amazing how it's changed, hasn't it?
It has, yeah. And I do have a feed wagon. I do grow maize and beet, but because I'm a wet farm, like I said, I start calf from 1st of February to get in onto grass if possible, but that doesn't always happen because of the rain and the wet spring. So I still have to buffer feed in the spring if I can, get out for 2 hours a day and try and buffer then. But I'd be hoping to get 80% of my total milk solids produced from grass if I could in a year. But it doesn't always work out with that, but that's the aim. And now we're grass measuring, hoping to grow 14, 15 tonnes per hectare. In a good year you would. I've been hitting 13 average for the last few years, but constantly receding and trying to do your best,
Constantly, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let me just check this here now. That thing, it is, nothing worse than chatting for that long and then it's not on. I got once before. Yeah. Always receding.
Yeah.
And sure, we saw the field there. You've in for receding. 5-10% of the farm a year.
IBM 10 minimum, sometimes 15.
Wow.
So this year I went to 20% because I didn't do much last year, it was so wet.
Okay.
So I've actually receded 55 acres this year out of a total of 300. So did a lot this year now.
Yeah, we playing a little bit of catch up. So we have a couple of hectares now close to receding this week.
Yeah. So the problem is nitrogen pulling back. We have to rely a little bit more on clover, but on wet farms it's very hard to keep clover going every year because when you get poaching damage, it kills the stolons, so it stops the spread and it dies out.
Yeah.
So this year put in red clover on the silage swards and normal amount of white clover over there in that field, which is very strong clover this year because it's been a good summer.
You put white clover just in that field down there.
On the hill, yeah. And that's been grazed 3 times and spread 3 times with parlor washings. No nitrogen.
No graze, okay.
Yeah.
No nitrogen at all, okay.
No. Got 2 bags of 10-10-20 when reseeded, and then go with 2,000 gallons to the acre of parlor washings. I have an aeration system, so as much water as I can into the tank during the summer with parlor washings, and as water as I can slurry, and it seems to work well.
Yeah, we talked about that before. We made a video years ago, and you're saying because we have the aeration as well too, would we not be a bit worried with too much water going in?
No, more the merrier.
More water the better.
Yeah, even turn the chutes in there during the summer if you can.
Even turn the chutes?
Yeah.
The rainwater into the tank?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, okay.
So when you watch when I'm spreading it, you actually wouldn't see it. It just into the ground and it's gone. You wouldn't even see lines after nearly. Slight
Okay.
thing for the first day, but and you can spread I usually go in the day after grazing, spread. You could be driving at 12, 14k, you know, and you're only doing out 1,000 gallons to the acre on some of the fields, but it does seem to work during the summer well, especially in dry periods, like
Okay.
And I pre-spread the protected urea 7 days before grazing to try and get some dew to put it in, because it takes 7 days for the ammonia to break down and be released by the bugs, so you don't get any uptake of urea in the grass either for cows.
Farmers looking lovely from here. The ladies behind us are expecting to go in.
They're going in because they've been getting silage for the last 7 days around 2 o'clock, so they know it's nearly time to go in for a bite to eat.
It's rare you'll be feeding grass silage in August.
Look, when you're highly stocked, you have to fill the gap when a gap arises. So, unfortunately, this week we have growth of 50 and demand of 65. So we just have to fill the gap somehow. So they're getting 3 bales a day between them.
Okay. So here are the ladies, Colin.
Yeah.
And if anybody's seen a change in quality, I've switched to 4K to see your cows, because in 4K, look at the view you have, Colin. First of all.
Yeah.
Huh? Do you ever take it for granted? So we're looking out across it.
No. The sun rises over the sea in the morning and sets over the mountains in the evening. And my window, you'll see it later, you can see both sides in the morning when you have a cup of tea. You can see the sun rising, and when you're last thing in the evening, when you're sitting down for another cup of tea, you can see the sunset. So.
And that's Dungarvan. We're looking out at there.
That's Dungarvan Bay, yeah.
Wow. And come here, talking cows.
Yeah.
You said we'll see a few unusual ladies here. I spotted this lady coming in.
Yeah.
With the eyes.
Yeah. So she's a 4-way cross. So she's a Frisian. Her dam is there second away, 7-3. And then she was bred to a Jersey and then crossed with a Fleckfay. And then she got a Landmark garden straw, which I got from Dove. Neil Hart was working for at the time.
So she's a Landmark
garden.
Right, 50%.
LV is the code.
Okay.
So I have 4 daughters that year and a couple of bull calves, and she had a, what was it? 70-29 heifer calf this year, EBI of 290.
Okay.
So her EBI is 200 because she's out of a very high EBI cow. Nice square cow, Belted Galloway is what they are like really, but they're milking Belted Galloway out of Holland. So
it's a Dutch breed.
They're Dutch breed, yeah.
Okay, so nothing, not to a fleck fee or anything.
Well, she's like her great granddam was Frisian, her granddam was Jersey, or the grandsire was Jersey. Her great grandsire was Jersey, her grandsire was Fleckfay, and her sire was Landmark garden. 4-way cross.
If anybody is watching this, that it's a pure pedigree Holstein man that I suppose that I used to be and I still love. Yeah. That'd be like.
I still have like 75% of them are purebred.
75, okay. So 75 you heard. So she's there now. So she's purebred, is she?
She's purebred. She's a DBW. She's what is she?
So when you say you were talking earlier, so you is that that's Irish genetics DVW, is it?
Yeah. Okay. Now I have bred a few. There's some American genes in her. She's off American bull.
Yeah.
And most of the cows in calf this year are in calf to either Dutch or American genetics this year. Because I thought
okay.
The EBI is very high. I thought the cows were getting a bit small, so I said I'd breed a bit of milk into them. And then my policy always was go every 3rd generation British Frisian. So for the last 30 years, I was kind of keep the medium-sized, good type cow with good solids, was kind of do that policy. But then I started going down the EBI route. I've done that for 10 or 15 years. So the average EBI is 265 per cow.
So EBI, for again any foreigners looking in, that's our
breeding index.
That's the breeding index, yeah.
And it's based mainly around milk would be the highest one, then fertility, and then you have health and pieces like that.
So milk solids are so important in Irish production. We export 90% of what we produce. So it's all about solids here, not volume. But just putting solids to one side, shape-wise, who would be your ideal animal here now?
That cow up there. So she's the oldest cow in the herd.
For your type of farm.
Yeah.
Show us.
Grazing cow. Can still have
this lady here?
Big capacity, good udder. She's in her 10th lactation, that cow.
So she's had 10 calves.
Yeah. She's had 9 heifer calves.
Averaging how much per year?
She's a high yielder. She's doing 9,000 a year.
She's doing 9,000 kilos. She said
9,000 litres, sorry.
9,000 litres, sorry.
In kilos of milk solids, she's probably up around 700.
She's probably up around 700.
Yeah.
Wow. And like going back to my cow judging days, she's got a great rump behind. Her pins are in the nice place. Like, okay, she's not a show cow.
No.
She's not a show cow,
Yeah.
but she's a functional cow. Big
Yeah.
square.
Like there's another cow behind her
big
there.
depth.
She is out of what is it? F4 and 2.8. So
which one are we looking at
this
now?
one 2.74. Like
now, would you not be
she's
afraid?
Too big. She's too big for me now.
I was going to say she's too tall for a grass system.
Sometimes when you cross the American Dutch genetics onto a small cow, they'll come very big. You don't get a medium-sized cow, yeah.
Okay.
So her dam would have been a smallish cow, and I just bred to put a small bit more size. But sometimes they come very big. And whereas here, see this cow here, she's a British Friesian. So she's 50% British Friesian and 50% Holstein. But she was out of a very big cow. But then she came very small. So it's hard when you do the crossbreeding to get a medium-sized cow sometimes. Sometimes they'll come very small, sometimes they'll come very big. But she's a high yielder too. She's like doing 650 kilos of milk solids, 680 maybe.
No, I might be out of touch saying this, stuck too much behind a computer on a plane, but I feel in Ireland there's kind of two types of dairy farmers, the lads that are all about pedigrees and love of their cows and ancestry, and I think that's fantastic myself too. And then there's some that are just grass-based and cow fits the system or not. You seem to be a little bit in between, are you?
Yeah.
Like you know the ancestry there. Like you're still registered in pedigree, Holstein.
Still registered in pedigree, yeah. So I'd spend a lot of time going through breeds, but it's mainly for kilos milk solids I'm aiming.
Yeah.
But I still want to keep a functional cow.
Okay.
So I never showed cows. I don't intend doing it. I don't have the time for it. But I still want a cow that has good feet.
Yeah.
Has room to eat a lot of grass, or if she's inside, a lot of feed, and can produce a lot of kilos of milk solids and have a long life, like, and milk for 8, 9, 10 years. There's some fleck fizz in here.
She's a fleck fizz.
She's a fleck fizz cross, yeah.
Okay.
She's a fleck fizz out of a Jersey, so she's a 3-way cross.
Out of all the breeds, who has the best feet and legs?
The Jerseys probably don't give much trouble. I don't have many of them, like, but it's mainly crosses I have, you see. So, but look, yeah, you know, the roadways I try and keep it as good as I can, but I think lameness is down to nutrition and probably roadways if they're not great, you know. Yeah. They do a lot of walking, these girls.
They do. What's your furthest kilometres from the parlour?
So the last field down there is 1.2 kilometres. So I try to alternate it. So if they're down there, there's 2 grazings in the field, but they'll do a grazing down there by day and then a close one by night.
Yeah.
So to save
we do the same as well.
Save the air miles.
It's just, it does take from them.
Yeah.
It does take from them.
They don't have the same hours lying down or grazing like when they're walking for an hour.
Yeah. So will you find yourself the back end of the year, Colin? Would you ever go to once a day or any of that?
Yeah, I'll go once a day. I'll go 13 times a week now in October, and then I'll go to...
So explain 13 times a week.
So milk them late Saturday evening, about 7 o'clock, and then Sunday around 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock in the morning, and then no milking Sunday evening, and then in early Monday morning. So 18-hour gap between them.
And how do the cows respond to that? Like, is there any issue?
No issues, no.
So you'll often have a cow in the tank.
You'll often have a cow you miss one evening, and so she comes in the next day and she milks fine.
Sure.
So I say that's how fellas found out about it. They just tried it one day and it worked. And then later in the year, I'll do 10 times a week. So Friday evening late, say 7 or 8 o'clock. Saturday around 3 o'clock. Sunday around 10 o'clock. And Monday morning around 6 o'clock. So Saturday and Sunday milking is only once a day.
Okay.
And I used to milk through Christmas before, and that's how I do that too. So Christmas Eve and Christmas and Stephen's Day would only be once a day. And then I'll go once a day closer to when I start calving again. But this year I'm actually drying off this year fully.
You're going to dry completely?
Yeah.
So dry off week before Christmas?
Yeah, it's just the banding thing and nitrates derogations and soil water storage and all these rules we have to comply with now are putting more pressure on the system we designed 5 or 6 years ago. So soil water storage, you have to keep so many litres per cow per day. You have to have this capacity. So if you dry off, then you can just say it was dry and you won't have soil water. So that's one reason of doing it. And look, my
say that again now. So once you dry off, you don't have soiled water.
No.
Okay.
So you don't have to have capacity in that tank. So look, I'm renting another farm off my brother-in-law's family, and I have a lot of capacity and storage out there, but it's a few kilometres away, so I have to draw a slurry there if I need to. But there's maize there anyway, so I would be bringing some slurry there, and there's some cull cows and cattle that stay there for the winter anyway. But look, I'm 50 now. I've done a lot of milkings through winters and that, so I think it's just time to pull the pin for maybe one season, just take 3 weeks off. My compaction of calving is tighter too, so I'd have 80% in 6 weeks now. So
Yeah.
you're only going to be milking 30 cows through for a month. So
That's the point.
yeah.
Yeah, we're say 10 years now in our yard since we did winter milk, but it is a game changer. Gives you a chance, gives the cows a chance, and gives you a chance. You know.
Yeah.
Geez, you're a serious dairy farmer, Colin, and honestly, in Reseath, I thought you were just more interested in motorbikes
And drinking.
and a bit of Oasis.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Come here, just we'll I don't know, we'll get down there, but where's your oysters then?
My beds are out there. You can see over the trees there where the oyster beds are.
So just to explain to anyone what you mean by an oyster bed.
So they're...
Can we see the beds? I'm zooming in here now. I can see something.
It's
Yeah.
hard to see them, yeah, but probably like they're 4
Go on,
kilometers
you hold the
away.
camera there now. You see? Can you point? Oh, see? Can you point towards the beds?
Yeah. So
Okay.
they're my beds there. So
Okay.
I have 2 beds. One is the furthest north. That's that one there. 6 hectares there, and another one maybe a mile to the right. We see it from
6
my house.
hectares of oyster beds.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
there's more to the right, 4 hectares again. So can grow a couple of million oysters there. Buy them in from France, and my father started it 40 years ago.
Yeah.
And grow them here for 3 years, and then export them back to France mainly. So
Okay, and they finished them then in France. Is that it?
they finish them here, yeah. And
Oh, they
then
finished them here.
they
Sorry.
send them home to purify them and call them French oysters then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Should we go down for a look at that?
Yeah.
No, we'll leave the ladies alone. They're very content.
Yeah.
I suppose before we leave the ladies, what was your conception rate like this year?
So all sex semen in the first round. You use the collars and
That was my next question. Technology. So you've gone
Yeah.
for the collars, okay?
using them with 10 years and put in newer collars this year on the younger cows because the numbers grew, so I have health on those as well. So breeding, I've been using sex semen for 10 years and selling a lot of heifers and heifer calves. And so yeah, I always get 60%, 55-60% conception to first service with sex semen. And
Okay.
the last few years I used to breed the second round to sex semen as well, or conventional Frisian. But this year I pulled the pin after 3 weeks of black and white AI. Used some fleck fay on the second round. They could be sold as beef heifers if I have to. And then everything after that was Angus.
Okay.
So mainly just for, the Angus calves, they calf themselves easier, they pop them out. You don't have to be up as late at night watching them. So, and they're good to suck themselves. Like.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's going to be a market for Frisian heifers if the derogation comes in, because we could all be cutting back a few
It'll
cows.
be massive cutbacks.
Yeah.
Be massive cutbacks.
So they're saying there won't, but I just found the last few years, fellas are a lot more sex semen, and fellas just say, oh, that heifer is EBI 300, so I'll buy that one, and there's 250 quid, but I don't think it's enough money. Like, I think heifers should be making good money from good cows, and there was a flood of heifers there for the last 4 or 5 years, and demand from was getting slacker, so I think if fellas want to breed heifers, they can breed them themselves instead of trying to get cheap heifers off me.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So so what you're saying to me is you'll sex semen for your own, and then it'll probably be a bit of beef after that.
Yeah, sell the
Selling
beef
on
cows.
Yeah. Well, we Tullamore show there on Sunday, and I was working on the Durpack stand, and I think I did my first Tullamore or ploughing. I think I was 16, but I think this year for me at Tullamore, it was an awful lot of beef men coming in, said that would have been finishing beef cattle,
Yeah.
looking at hutches and calf hutches
Yeah.
because they're just on about, we have to get into
Dairy beef.
dairy beef.
Yeah, getting out of the sucklers.
Yeah. Well, so Clermont is doing okay. It's the beef finishing man that's
And like I rear cattle the last few years, not finishing them but bring them to stores because I have that extra ground at the moment. I build cow numbers, and sure, like I'm getting some of those Anguses up to 400 kilos at 13 months. Like, so like fellas are finishing them, and we bring them to 650, 680 kilos out of Angus. And they're getting the bonuses too. Like, so
yeah,
a decent sized frame cow, you'll get decent sized cattle out of them too. But some guys don't want Angus calves out of anything that has F4X on the card, or even the low maintenance purebred Friesians, like, because those cows are only 500 kilos or 480 kilos, and they can't get big cattle out of them. So fellas are watching what herds they're coming out of too. So,
well, come here, we'll move on.
Yeah.
We'll leave the ladies alone. What time is milking?
4 usually,
4.
3:30 maybe.
Right. We'll have a look at the oysters and go for a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Colin, a very straightforward parlor.
Yeah.
Nothing. How many units?
16 units. Feed to yield, auto drafting. health
Feed to
monitoring.
yield, auto drafting. Okay. So they get drafted out in breeding season, no problem.
Yeah. So that works fine.
You're standing on a few mats down there.
Yeah,
Bit of comfort.
Yeah.
Grand. And this parlour was here before you.
As far as the shed was here before me, but 2014 I put in the Gia parlour.
2014, I remember that you put in the Gia
So,
parlour. Yeah.
very happy with it. Now look, at the time it was designed for 130 cows. It was supposed to be 8 rows in and out fast, but some land came up beside me, and then kind of just grew to 200 cows. So it is 12 rows now, but I've moved on all the slow milkers. So at the moment it's an hour and a half in the morning for milking, maybe 10 more minutes of washing up because there's no auto washing and stuff. In the spring it's a little bit longer. You would be in there in the morning for 2 hours in the spring.
And how long are you milking on this farm? Like, how long was your dad milking before you?
And
was there anyone milking here before him, or did your dad?
No, my grandfather and great grandfather were milking cows. So the first milk docket was into the hospital in Dungarvan in, I think it's something like 1860.
Holy moly!
Yeah, so they have a docket. My uncle has a docket over for Central Dairies when they're delivering into the local hospital back then.
Yeah.
So as far back as then, they were milking shorthorns and then Friesians, and then they brought in some Holsteins. Then they went breeding back in the 70s. So at one stage there, half the farm was in Old Parish and the other half was here. So they just walked the cows to Old Parish for 3 weeks, and then when they ran out of grass there, they'd walk them back down to Ring and milk here for 3 weeks and then go back up. So they were doing rotational grazing back in the early 1920s of a different sort. So with 2 parishes, they were rotational grazing rather than fields like so.
Wow.
It was a strange setup, but farm got split a few times. Then just great grandfather split it between 2 sons, and then my grandfather split it between 2 sons, and then my father has left it to me now. So milking 150 acres here now, and fairly highly stocked here. Renting a few fields close by to walk them to, and renting a couple of outblocks for silage and maize and beet.
And this was, I mean, when I first came here years ago, they were your only sheds.
Those 2 there and the top one, so there was 90 cubicles there.
And we were just talking there about you're going to do a refurbishment and them new cubicles and mats. And this was a big build for you back in 16, 17, was it?
Yeah, so 92 cubicles, Technic mattresses, plenty of feed space. So I have feed space for 200 cows. So for buffer feeding, that's essential when you're at grass, because you just want to leave the cows in for maybe it's 2 kilos of dry matter or 5 kilos of dry matter or whatever it is to fill the gap if you're short on grass or if it's a wet day, so they can all get access at the same time for eating. And
so for people looking in there, so those cubicles are not in use at the moment now. There's little hard to see in the video, but there's a little string of a wire just to keep them out of it. Is there?
Yeah, electric fence on it.
Little fence on it just to keep them out. And that's the Huber mattress we put in, I think, 2017.
Yeah. So they love that one. So
a picture of me. I think we got everything dropped here, and I had to bring a bit of foam back with me. I have a picture there someplace going with the foam. But so that's in nearly 10 years. Any of it lifting anywhere?
No.
Lifting?
To be honest with you, I have to draft the cows separately. So I put first and second calves in the smaller cubicles and the bigger cows down here. Because if I leave the 2 gates open, most of the cows will stand down this shed.
Sure.
And they don't like going into the older cubicles.
You just have a simple rubber mat there, and the cows will always choose a bit more comfort.
Yeah, so I find they milk better if they're separated. Just put 95 cows in here and same above there, so they're not competing for the same cubicles.
We talked about it. Oh, that's just the scrape box. But you're a big fan of the aeration.
Yeah, you can hear it bubbling away there.
You can hear it bubbling away, yeah.
So it's on
same as my own.
365 days a year. Comes on 3 times a day, and then the day you're going to spread and turn it on 24 hours.
And come here. The day you're going to spread and keep going, the day before, 24 hours before you,
But it's kind of, I spread nearly every day of the year in the summer because I just put out parlor washing. So just a parlor washing tank here and it overflows in there. And
you just get in the habit of putting out 2 or 3 tanks every day.
Yeah. So I might go every 3rd day, spread 4 tanks or something like that.
Yeah. And I remember you telling me before, if you had a relief milker or something in for a Saturday, spend the day spreading it.
Yeah.
Keep it down, yeah. Come here. We'll walk through. Which way is the best way to go?
Do you want to see that machine or?
Yeah. We'll see that oyster machine. Yeah.
Yeah, we can go this way. Yeah.
And that's the auto drafter there. How important is that to you?
Oh, sure, it's essential for breeding for sex semen. Yeah.
For sex semen. So you're drafting twice a day when you're on sex before they go to grass.
Day, and AIing twice a day.
Is that an Alfco machine or?
No, it's a Gia.
Oh, it's Gia drafting. Sorry. Okay.
And the good thing about the heifers is I bring the heifers home for AI too, and the heifers are in this field for 3 weeks.
Right.
And they have the collars on. So the maiden heifers put the collars on them and it picks them up in the field.
No way.
And you can time the AI for the sex semen. Because I found I was getting better conception rates on the cows with the collars than I was on the heifers.
Okay.
So in the last 3 years, I've put the collars on the heifers when they're 13 months of age, put them out and bring them back a week before they go AIing. And they just need a week of data to build up so that it balances itself out and it works right. And then I serve the heifers on timed AI as well. So they want to be between hours 16 and 22 starting heat.
And sorry, with the sex semen, are you going twice a day?
Yeah.
Or once?
So if I bring in the heifers every morning at 11 o'clock, it'll show up what time they came on. So if they're just on, I keep in that heifer and AI in the evening. If she was on the night before, say at 3 o'clock, even before, I'll AI her at 8 o'clock that morning.
Because I'm hoping to get a drafter in next year with our agit-tech bolus, and I'd say if we had that, then we'd go sex semen.
Yeah.
You're happy with your conception?
You get 70% on the heifers.
Wow.
You'll get 60, but you lose a few embryos during the year, and you end up with average of 55 kind of.
Okay. Now we'll talk about your other business. We'll go to the oysters, see your machine. So Colin, we're moving now to your oyster business and explaining. So out in the sea, the oysters are how?
They're in these bags. So we end up putting 300 oysters per bag in these. It's about a kilo. So they come at like, you'll get 1 million of them in about 100 kilos. And then they'll double their size every month. So I would normally put 1,000 per bag, which is probably roughly a kilo when they come first. And within 3 or 4 months, there's 4 or 5 kilos in that bag. And then I spin down to 300 per bag. And they'll stay at 300 per bag then until I sell them in 2 years' time.
Okay.
And in 2 years' time, that 1 kilo will end up being 10 kilos, even if you lose 50% of them to mortality.
That 1 kilo will, okay, turn it to, okay, wow.
Yeah, after 18 months, kind of.
Okay.
And you just put the bag down like that. And before, we used to tie them with rubbers like this, and just put that around there and that around there. So
now this is out in the sea.
Out in the sea, and then the band would hold them down. That's the big one, the smaller one. Just like that.
Right. Oh.
You'll have to edit that now. That's what happens though. These rubbers break.
Yeah, the rubbers break.
And they're marine litter. So they used to be tied like that, and then sometimes you get a storm, they break. So myself and Mike, who made the machine, are now making bars that go down like this. They fit down like either side of that. So there's no break. There's no rubber. There's no marine litter. You put an R-clip on that. That holds it on. We've been trialing them for 2 years. They never come off. You don't lose a bag. You don't have any marine litter. So it's good for the environment, and it saves me money as well because I don't have any losses.
And then let's go over and see your machine then.
Yeah.
So sorry, manually you have to turn them. You have to turn them, right?
Every month in the summer, so you have to turn them. You have to take up this bag.
Why do you have to turn them?
Shake it. You need to shake the oyster to break the frill off the oyster so you get a good shape. So the turning the bag isn't really important, but people just flip them over to turn the seaweed down. But it's more the actual fact that you shake the oysters in the bag to move them around so they grow in their natural form. Because if they're in a bag, the shell is made of calcium, and the shape will not be natural to an oyster. It'll grow in a funny shape, and they're called bad shape then, and you get less of a price for them per kilo. So you have to actually physically shake the bag every month to get them to grow in their natural form.
That's a huge manual job.
Yeah, it's like back-breaking work that you have to do either in the rain or the heat. So I decided I wasn't going to keep going doing that for the rest of my life. I've done it for 30 years already, so I worked with a local engineer, a friend of mine, and he's very good. He just qualified at UCD a couple of years ago, and he was working for Tanko, and he worked for High Spec, and he designed the wrappers and the new moor for Tanko. So I asked him to put some pieces down on the computer, and I told him what I wanted, and he came up with it. So machine lifts the trestle, clamps onto it, holds onto the leg, so you lift the whole bed out of the ground, and then the hydraulic motor here spins at 360.
So now just going from the start here, anyone familiar with tractors? Yeah. That's your front linkage for the John Deere loader, is it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. It goes on the loader.
It goes on the loader.
We can make them now that it has 3-point linkage attachment too, so go front or back.
Front or back.
And then
you have your hydraulics then off the tractor, right?
So 3 spools. This ram pushes it out underneath the bed.
Right.
The leg clamps onto it here, hydraulically work too.
Okay.
So you have a rotary coupling valve which sends it out through there. It's like they have in the forestry machines. And then you can pick the bed up out of the ground. It spins at 360, and then the oysters roll in the bag, same as physically turning them. And with the bar system on them, or even the rubbers, the bag doesn't fall off. And you're doing the same job, except you're doing 5 at a time instead of 1 at a time. And you're doing it from the comfort of the tractor.
Doing it from the comfort of the tractor in any weather.
In any weather, and you can get through, like I can get through about 1,000 bags a day in the tractor.
Wow.
In 4 hours at a low tide, whereas if you were doing it by hand, you might get through 200 and you'll be well wrecked by the end of that.
Holy moly! Give us those numbers again. So one man in a tractor could do how much in a day?
1,000 bags in the 4-hour tide, but one man by hand would do about maybe 150, 200,
Wow.
and you'll be well tired again.
So 10 times the production, and you're still sitting on the tractor listening to Munster Rugby.
Yeah, with a bit of air conditioning on or heating, whichever it is.
Yeah. Or watching an odd gobshite on YouTube.
Yeah.
Thanks. Now we jumped in the tractor here. This is a good Bessie. This John Deere's worked hard for you, Colin.
As there's the oysters and the
Between
farm.
the farm and the oysters. So we're just heading down to the sea now to have a look at the oysters. So what do we see when we go down here?
So this is more of my land here, my house here in front of us, and then this road leads right down onto the beach, and then out the beach, and there's about a kilometre and a half out to sea. Low tide, you can go out to the beds. Tide comes in now twice a day. We walk the beds usually once a day during the daylight hours. Go out then and do what we need to do outside. So for me mainly it's with the machine now. I'm gonna split the bags right once for every 2 years, so just to get them into 300 per bag. And then after that then I just use the machine to flip them. Whereas all the other guys are still manually turning. We have 3 machines sold in this bay, and there's guys are just coming around to the idea of using them. So,
and anyone looking for one of those machines, they can contact Creva. We'll
take a commission on it.
Oh, they're not doing it for nothing. There's your house.
Yeah.
And you say Denise is she's not there at the moment?
No, she's gone out with kids. So
how many kids, Colin?
5 kids, 4 girls and a boy. So they're all in school at the moment. One finished this year, going to college.
And again, I'll repeat it again. Colin's only interest in college in England was motorbikes, pints, and a bit of rugby.
Yeah.
So beautiful girl, beautiful family. So how many oysters do you have out here, Colin?
I have 3 million, but in total there's probably 80 or 100 million oysters out here.
There's 100 between different farmers, different oyster farmers.
Yeah.
So you have 3 million, and then how many head of livestock have you between young stock and all? About 300?
350 or something.
Yeah. So that'll be the title of the YouTube. 350 head of cattle, 3 million oysters, and a 30-year friendship.
So that's hell of a head over there. Used to be a fishing village, but now there's only 2 boats fishing out of that. And then you have beds there, and in the middle then there's a bird corridor, just a sanctuary for birds.
So no
disturbed.
Okay.
And then from here over to the northern bay, there's probably 3 farms there.
And you were saying, Colin, that are you a Class A, B now or something?
No, it's still Class B.
Class B, okay.
So the oysters must be purified before sale as well.
Okay, and if you were Class A, the value of your oysters would be double, would they?
They could be higher, yeah, because you could just sell them straight. But in fairness, most guys now purify anyway, just as an insurance policy, even if it's Class A.
Yeah.
Because they're filter feeders and they filter all the water coming from the bay.
Okay.
And so we're derogation farmers in Ireland, so we have to keep all our slurry storage and dirty water effluent, and it's a valuable resource anyway. We use it for growing grass.
Yeah.
But there's one issue there as well with the local government. They are allowed to release.
I'm going to open the door here now so I can see better. Yeah.
The waste treatment water, they're allowed to release it if they get over 5 mil of rain any night, untreated into the bay.
So, just like we're talking there about, comparing what happens in dairy farming and what happens in oyster farming.
Yeah, so like every farmer spends hundreds of thousands, if not millions, on concrete, slats, roofs. To gather every last.
And if we lose our derogation now,
so we'll have to reduce by 30% our stock.
Or build massive silos and get more land. And
every farmer is keeping every last drop of slurry and water out of rivers and spreading it properly so there's no runoff from fields.
And if you put in a big tank without
or cover, you
lose your water board. And now what you're saying then is looking out at the town there. If the government get a couple of mil of rain, they're allowed to just let water off into the sea.
Yeah, untreated.
That's raw sewage.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Yeah. So in Ireland,
2 standards.
Yeah. In Ireland, in my opinion, nobody should be swimming in Irish waters the day after rainfall.
Say that again.
You shouldn't be swimming in a bay.
Right.
In Ireland, the day after rains, you should wait at least 2 or 3 days.
But that's not only if the tanks are full. They wouldn't let them out the sewage, would they? Or
If
Or
you
they do it every time?
If you get rain, they leave it off.
Wow. So these are all the trellises now we're going out looking at, are they?
They're out there. Tractors over there are gathering up bags for moving or grading out there.
So tractors there. I'm just going to see if I can pan around here now. There's Colin's farm back there. This is I get the John Deere doesn't like the salt water.
I stay at 10 kilometers an hour and wash it every time I come in, and I don't have an issue.
Is that it? Okay.
Yeah. So if you don't drive too fast, you won't get the salt water up on the engine in and around the body of it. So
okay.
You just stay going slow and come in and out, you just get a little bit of sand on the mud guards, and that's it.
So 40 years ago, was your dad and some of the neighbours kind of pioneers to kind of more intensive oyster farming, or was it always going on?
Father was a county councillor, and he went to America one time on a tour, and he saw guys oyster farming in Boston somewhere, I think.
Oh.
And he came back, he said, I'll try that out today. So he was always into fishing.
So your dad was one of the first out here in the bay?
He was the first, yeah.
The first? Wow.
So in Dungarvan Bay. They used to grow naturally here, but during the famine I think they were eaten out. So most oyster beds would have had oysters growing naturally in the bays, but a lot of them were eaten out during the famine.
The famine, of course, yeah.
And then you still have native Irish oysters growing like in some spots, but they take 7 years to grow. And they're very slow to finish. So commercially they're not viable, but some people do grow them just for restaurant use.
So I'm just going to turn on the camera here now and pan over this. Yeah. So you said you have 3 million oysters yourself, but how many oysters are out there? 100.
My brother's business probably puts out 20 million a year, so they have 60 million. And then the French guy he put out more, so he put out 40 million a year, so he get about 120 million. And then there's another big company, they might have the same size as the French guy, PK, so BMR.
And so what value as an industry has that 120 million roughly?
Well,
sales price?
Like I'm selling them for 3,000 a kilo, or €3 a kilo, like so.
How many oysters a kilo?
If I had a good year, I'd have 40 ton. But because of pollution issues the last few years, and a virus issue last year, and then some, I'm only getting about 12 ton a year. So it's not really a very viable business at the moment because of what's going on. But in a good year, we've had a few good years, but at the moment it's tough enough. So I just want to keep it going. It's traditional.
It's traditional and
yeah, it's not very hard work since we made the machine. So I can do all I need to do in 400 hours, roughly in the year.
Okay.
So.
But come here, it's a tremendous story. An industry here that your dad started off 40 years ago.
At its peak, I'd say there was 150 to 200 people working in the bay, full time.
Wow.
With more part time. At the moment, it's probably cut back a bit because staff and labour issues are hard to get, but there's still probably maybe 100 people full time, close to it. That guy's Florent, so he's been in the industry for the last 20 years. A friend of mine from Romania, but he's retiring out of the business at the moment.
He's from where originally?
Romania.
Romania, cool. Going now, so what are we looking at here, Colin?
7 rows here, and I can go out for a kilometre into the sea. I haven't been fully stocked at the moment, so but my site runs out for over a kilometre the whole way out.
Okay, so you've got 7 rows of this.
Yeah. So there's 300 per bag in those bags. That seed came in March from a French seed company, shipped over here. And as you can see in the bag now, there's probably kilo per bag was when they came first. It would have been.
Sorry, just looking at the oysters there. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. So sorry, when will they mature?
I'll sell them in probably 18 months' time, and they'll be on average between 30 and 70 grams. But the guy I sell them to will probably grow them on again, maybe. He'll bring them to 100 grams.
How do you know whose is whose?
It's all GPS.
Okay.
Like when you come out every day, you know which ones are yours.
Yeah.
Some of the bays are set up with different blocks. You can see across the way, so they're staggered. So everyone sets their sites up kind of slightly different, and it's slightly different stresses. But we can. I can open one bag there, and you can have a look at some of the oysters.
Yeah. So Colin, you're saying you've got a kilometre in length out towards the sea. The tide has
you
gone
can go
out now.
when the tide goes out further, you can get out further. On spring tides, every tide is different. With the full moon, you get higher tides and lower tides.
And what are the lads up to there now?
They're physically turning the bags now.
So they don't have your machine.
No. So
they're physically turning the bags.
Yeah, shaking them. Back-breaking work. Bent over all day there in the sun for 4 hours.
And we all know how hard it is to get labour now.
Yeah.
And yeah, back-breaking work. So what do you normally have to do?
So normally you do this. Unhook that side. Take the bag. Shake it. Put it back down again and close it again. So you do 200 times in 4 hours and you'll have a good day's work done. You'll have a good thirst or a good appetite, one or the other.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
And so now you just come in with your tractor now?
The tractor, forks go out.
Like just the tractor now, they're straight on there, but you'll just come straight in.
It booms out to the right, clamps onto the two legs, lifts up the thing, spins it around.
Oh yeah, you just drive straight down.
Yeah.
You don't have to
I can
turn into
send you a link of a video.
Yeah.
To it,
We'll put on.
And then the oysters are inside here.
Oh yeah. Gotta have a look at a few of them, yeah?
Let's answer this now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello.
Working. As well as being out here at Oysters, he's
Hello.
wrapping bales of silage as well.
Yeah, Will, how are you? Pat is coming over for plastic. Pat is coming over for the plastic. Yeah, no, he's yeah, I'll be back in. I had to bring the tractor out to the ice for a second. I had to go out and get a sample. I'll be back in, so I'll be back in a second. But Pat said he's coming over on it.
What are we saying there? There's some of them open, yeah?
So that's a good shape oyster now.
That's a good oyster, right?
Yeah, so as you can see, all the oysters there are good shape and they're done with the machine. So I've only ever turned them with the machine. So they're all good shape. So some guys will be saying, oh, you have to turn them every often. But like I've never turned them by hand since they came and there's no bad shape oyster in it. So that machine is doing what I needed to do. I can sell them no problem to anyone in the world. They'll always say, yeah, quality's good in them.
Yeah.
The only problem is this year we have mortality.
So how would you have mortality now?
We don't know. Like sometimes it's a red tide, so phytoplankton in the water, and they outcompete the oyster for oxygen, and then they just die. But we're not sure if it's pollution issues or if it's that. Like so.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay.
We're still trying to figure that out. You know.